I don't want to spoil anything, but I see some winners. I mean, you're all winners. I see some bingo winners. I should qualify that. Actually, quite a few who showed up right on time.
Good catch there, Jennifer. Good catch.
Yeah.
No, but you're all winners, but some are more winnery than others.
Some get a book. Some winners get a book, I should say. All right. Well, welcome back. It's good to see everyone. I hope this date team time was good and you all had a chance to grab lunch or a hot beverage at some point today. I have a lot to say, and I'm hoping that John Lind and Kelsey will step in whenever they want. I know they're going to help me share when it comes time to celebrate our leadership award for the SIG network or the SPDIG. So let's go ahead and all right. So those of you who will be lucky enough to win the book, The Art of Gathering, that John shared in the very beginning of our time, one of the things Priya Parker talks about, what John shared, is making this special space during your time together, whether it's virtual or in person. When she wrote the book, it was prior to COVID, so she really only talked about in-person gatherings. But the big idea was making a special space and time that is just for this gathering, right? It can only happen at this gathering. And that was when John showed you the "you are here" picture. And I really appreciate it. I reached out to a couple of people for various reasons during the conference and got their out of office replies. And I really appreciated that folks were really doing that, because it hurt last year to see people who had regrets that they had missed being part of the conference, that they were supposedly here, but they were taken away for other business from their office much of the time. So I really appreciate that you all were here with us and we felt that. But the other thing that on the other side of things, Priya Parker talks about, you also need to help people leave the event, to close the time together so that they're ready to step back out into the rest of their world and of course make use of what they learned, but you have to bring things to a real close. So a couple of things we need to close. One is we need to announce the winners of the bingo game. We actually had a tie in terms of 2 people coming at the same time, so we have 6 winners instead of 5. And also want to talk a little bit about the want ads and what is up there now. You can continue to use it, but I wanted to show you all what we can see on the want ads now. And then also back in the very beginning of the conference, you talked about why it was important for you to be here at this conference. Why is it important enough to turn on your out of office, right? And to really give your attention. And so I want to reconnect with why. All right, the bingo winners. We have 6 there. The Oklahoma team, yay. And I don't know how many people are there for the Oklahoma team, but they are together in the same space at the SCA there, and we're very excited for them. Congratulations. We also have Mary Spencer from Rhode Island SPDIG, Laura Brown from the Georgia SPDIG, Greg Wartenberger from Arkansas SPDIG, Becky Curtis from Minnesota, and Tina Minahan from New York. So congratulations to all of our winners. I did receive approval to share a couple of the bingo results. And I mean, I'm just so impressed by how organized it is, first of all. But it was really fun for me to look over just 2, and I love to see other people's. But marketing shouldn't feel like marketing. Make it mobile friendly. There were actual quotations for professional learning communities, build relationships and create safe spaces for people to collaborate. You can see how in-depth some of these ideas are and how much you can make use of them as you go back to your SPDIG life. And I really wish I was in this session. It sounds great. We had a grandfather's legacy, a Ted Lasso quote, teacher social media posts. So luckily we have recordings of all the different sessions with the exception of the conversation cafe. And you will be able to go back to these sessions and listen to them and hopefully continue to learn from this time. So congratulations again to the bingo winners who get to make their choice of 3 books. One is Making Virtual Engagement Easy. The other is The Art of Gathering. And then we also have Everybody Writes by Anne Handley. All right, the want ads. I also told you I was going to share what I'm seeing so far on the want ads, and I hope that people continue to use them. I was appreciating this, more visuals like the shark cake from yesterday to explain fidelity. I think the more you can make fidelity concrete, the better off we're going to be. I appreciated this disaggregated data, how to find it, use it, work together on it for Native American students, because sometimes they can get lost because the numbers are not big enough to report, sometimes in a meaningful way. There was information that someone from Johns Hopkins had shared about teaming that someone had noticed. Let's see, a fidelity toolkit, which I think is a great idea. Like we talked about training with a workbook to work alongside of it. And I think that's a great idea. So please do look at the want ads. Again, the Zoom lounges this afternoon are a great way to continue conversations if you want to reach out to someone. And then, this is a lovely idea, a computer chip to download everything Kim St. Martin shared, or maybe the entire contents of her brain. All right, so recalling your why. We heard mention of the golden circle in another session. So understanding the why of your project helps you get to how you're going to do your work and what you're going to achieve. You can look at this from a lot of different directions, but what we had you do that first day is think about why it was important for you to be at the conference and ask yourself that 5 times to get to the why am I here? What do I want to achieve from this time is the big idea. So I'd love for people to just pause, take a moment to think about what you wanted to get out of the time while you were here and whether you did so. And if not, what is still left for you to learn that you might want to reach out on the want ads to connect with other folks for. So let's just take a moment of silence to think about why we were here and whether or not that was achieved and what's left to do. Great, thank you. And then we actually want to hear from you on this one, and we'll do the chat fall, which is just like Doctors Gomer Erickson and Noonan did this morning. So if you could take a moment to think about the new perspective that you gained. I'm guessing you have more than one. I certainly do. But just take a moment. Think about your new perspective glasses, whether they be a pirate eye patch, or some funky green things that Kaylee was wearing, all kinds of new perspective glasses, but put those back on. And what did you gain from your time here that's going to help you to look at things a little differently? So we'll take a minute to think about it, and then, or you can even start to write it in the chat, and then we'll all press enter at the same time in just a moment. All right. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Excellent. And Kelsey, will we be able to save the chat to share with folks as well after? Okay, great. Thank you so much. I will not be able to read everything right now, and I would want to. Thank you, everyone. Love what I'm seeing. And none of this would have been possible without our planning committee. They were small but extremely mighty. They planned both our program area meeting, which was at the OSEP Project Directors Conference. And they also planned this. So they had 2 events. We continually came to them with questions and does this look good? What do you think? They're the reason we had the dog versus cat poll, because we sent strong emotions from them when Kelsey sent out the dog out of office picture. But we want to thank Kaylee Bunch Woodson, Cheryl Huffman, Kristen Perez Rickles, Annette Young, Kelsey Leib, and John Lind. Thank you so much. You made it fun, memorable, and you just were a great group of people to work with.
Jennifer, one person I see that didn't make it onto that slide is yourself. You know, you were certainly a big part of the planning committee as well. So I want to make sure that gets called out also. And you pointed out, you know, that the dog and the cat piece of the outgoing out of office message was directly contributed to the planning committee, but also this WAN ads that we had was directly attributable to the planning committee also. And I'll go ahead and point out that those WAN ads, that link can stay live. People can continue to put on it over the next several days if they want. People can continue to look at it. It may look like there's not room for enough posts to make it onto the bulletin board, but people feel free to go ahead and add your stickies beyond just the bulletin board space.
Yep, we'll organize it. Great, thank you, John. All right, and we have another group to thank, and that is our facilitators and our tech hosts. The tech hosts are all from University of Oregon, and they're not on this session with us, but they did a great job. I was paired up with the same person each time. Kelsey, thank you. Jonathan did a wonderful job. It is so much easier doing this with people who know what they're doing with the technology. And I also want to thank our OSEP folks. And so I'm going to go ahead and name them and then stop sharing my screen so we can see them and thank them on screen. So we have Sung Young An, Sarah Allen, Shannon O'Neill, who I know can't be here right now, Mohammed Armido Solomon, Anita Vermeer, Perry Williams, who's also on leave today, and Grace Zamora Duran. So thank you so much, OSEP project officers. And I'm going to do a gallery view. I know how much support folks feel from their project officers and how much they care about your work. And it's really fun working with them and the great ideas that they have as well. So thank you so much. We appreciate you all. All right, the next portion is really fun for us, for John Lind and Kelsey Leib and myself. We so look forward to this time every year. This is a very engaged group, very participatory, great ideas. You know, there's lots of love. It's really not competitive. Everyone's willing to share everything. You saw that today with our opening presentation with Patty and Amy, how much they've shared with us over time, right? Everything's free, everything's available, take it, use it. All of you are like that. And so each year it's a really hard choice figuring out who should receive the SIG Network Leadership Award. But you know, each year it's hard. And then it comes to us and we're like, yes, this person has done so much for SIG Network. And it's just great to be able to recognize them. And John, I wanted to give you a chance to say something as well.
I can't agree enough, Jennifer. I don't know if people know this about me. It's probably one of my truths is I don't have a lot of ego and I don't need a lot of the spotlight, and I appreciate other people who are like that are happy to do the work that needs to be done, not necessarily for recognition, but just in order to make sure that students with special needs, or really any students, get the education that they need. And that's one of the things that really stands out about the SIG Network membership. When I think about all of the people that I've met through the years affiliated with the SIG Network, whether they're directly working with the SPDIGs or they're indirectly affiliated, it's people who aren't kind of edging other people out of the room to get the spotlight. It's people who are inclusive and saying, hey, the more people that come into this room and share the work that we're all doing, the better, And so like you, Jennifer, it's always hard for me to think about who is a person that stands out amongst this group of people that's really just working for outcomes and working for results, not working for the spotlight. That said, I'm always excited to be able to highlight people that stand out from the crowd. And so here we are. I think this is a face and a smile that we all recognize. Cheryl Huffman has really continued throughout the years to provide support to the SIG Network and therefore the SPDIGs all across the projects.
Thank you, John. Cheryl, congratulations. We see the Oklahoma team at the top. We're zooming in. I don't know if we can get Mike on them though. They've got the technology challenge of actually being together.
We're here. Can you hear us?
Yes, it's a little echoey, but we can definitely hear you.
There's Cheryl.
Oh, hi, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I don't know. She is actually surprised. She didn't know this was happening. And Kristen, as well as being on the planning committee, was kind enough to organize everything, make sure it was all going to work out, have the leadership award from John and Kelsey, and be able to give it to her at the right time. So thank you, Kristen, too. So Cheryl, do you want to say anything, or do you want to just be surprised and we'll leave it at that? Yeah, I think it's muted.
There you go, Cheryl.
Well, I am surprised, and I thank everyone so much for thinking of me. And I just want to say that this is the best group of people I've ever worked with, and I certainly appreciate being around you and learning from you all these years. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Cheryl. So one of the beauties of evaluators, I've said this before and I'll say it again, is okay, and I should stop sharing this for a second and let people actually see it. Is that evaluators sometimes continue on with projects even when folks turn over in the leadership roles at the state. And that's certainly been the case in Oklahoma. We've had a lot of strong project directors, luckily, but at one time we went through like 4 in a row very quickly. And Cheryl remained there and she would bring everyone up to speed each time and bring everyone up to speed each time and do it until she finally got someone who was staying for a while. Kristen Knight, the former project director, and then now Kristen Perez-Rickles. So she stuck it out, as so many evaluators do, and she's made sure that this continues to have impact. So thank you, Cheryl, and thank you for always supporting SIG Network. Well, we are now starting to get to the very end of things, and that means that you will receive a post-event evaluation, and Kelsey's going to put that link into the chat for you to go to right now. If you are like me, if you do it right away, it just takes it off your plate, takes it off your, you can take it out of your brain space, have all that space available for other things that you want to work on. You remember what you did, you remember what you want to respond to. So please do take the post-event evaluation. Not surprisingly, our evaluators always have this highest percentage of them who respond to it because they know the the blessing and the pain of trying to get data, right? I
And
added
Jennifer, can
Yes.
I point out also
Sure.
that, I think we're all aware of how data affects planning and decision-making. But in this case, I want to really highlight that one of the first things we do with the planning committee when we talk about having full group meetings is we pull up the data from these post-event surveys and look at what worked well in the past, what didn't work well in the past, compare that to whatever the most current data we have is, and make sure that we try and hit the needs of what the various community members of our group are stating. And so it really does affect not just our own input, but it affects our future meetings as well. So please take time to respond to that.
Absolutely. We look at it right away. We meet about it. And then also the next planning committee that comes together, which advertisement for those who might want to join us in planning for the program area meeting I'm about to talk about, and also the next national meeting, which will be in person, if you're willing to volunteer. But the first thing we do is we look at the data from the post-event survey in order to determine what that next meeting looks like. We also use it, as John was saying, to plan all of our various activities, the learning communities that we have, our webinars, etc. So thank you, John. I did hear from some folks that they wish they had more state team time. And so I would recommend, if you can find some time on the calendar soon, to meet and talk about how everything you learned applies to your work, right? There's a lot to take apart, to figure out where it goes in your work. And one of the themes that I heard is working with other people just adds so much value. So if you can plan that state team time, I would recommend it. I think it's going to be beneficial. We're going to do that in OSEP. Out of office replies, you can turn off your out of office replies now. Thank you again for using them. Coming soon is that OSEP national meeting, which will be next October. We are going to figure out the dates and hopefully the next couple of weeks and the place, so you can start to plan your travel. We'll have hotel rooms for you. We no longer can use FHI 360. It did close. I don't know if anyone new has bought that space, so potentially we could use it again if there's a new owner. But last we heard there was nobody using that conference space. Russia House is also closed, so we have a lot of changes, but we'll find another great place in DC. Coming events, as we mentioned before, we have Fidelity Fridays. Amy Garmer Erickson kicked that off, talking about the Kansas Fidelity Measure, getting feedback about that, ideas. Becky Gertis from Minnesota is going to speak with her co-author, and she's going to talk about fidelity and what to do in times of teacher turnover. That challenge. She wrote a book on teacher turnover, so she's the perfect person to talk about it. So that's going to be March 3rd at 12 o'clock Eastern. So we don't have a specific Friday we've landed on. We do it one Friday a month at noon. So you can eat your lunch if you're at least on the East Coast. Think about it. Try to think how you can get to that cake on the left, right, in your Fidelity, help people to do so. The OSEP Project Directors Conference, Leadership Conference is in person. The meeting page, if I can follow the link here. And so this is the OSEP meeting page. And I don't know if John and Kelsey could put it in the chat. I can put it in chat in just a second. So you can see 2023, there's homepage for more information. There's lodging, dining, and activities. Get your lodging as soon as you can. You can propose here in the portal and we can help you with that. If you would like to talk about it, do register right away. And so for the information, you go here. And it's July 24th through 26th in Crystal City, Virginia. So you could stay in DC and go across. You can take the metro into Virginia. You might want to stay in Crystal City. There are lots of hotels, but we do have a block of rooms as well. So it's leadership and project directors combined, as it has been in recent years. All right, and that's it for us. So I'm wondering if there's any questions about the upcoming events, any last thoughts to share? Thank you for the link to the post-event survey and the link to the meeting. Right. Well, we've had so much fun with you. Thank you for participating. I mean, it was great to have a keynote who is from a totally different area, right? From business to business marketing, and for her to see your brilliance and your engagement and how much you care. You could tell she was blown away. The same with Eliana and Rebecca coming in from the outside today. I can't wait to hear every single recording. That's a wonderful part about having this virtual meeting. And so we will have those recordings ready in the next couple of weeks, and we'll let you know when they are. And I'm glad to hear that the planning committee's hard work paid off. So thank you, everyone. And I hope the rest of your day that you get to decompress a little bit. That's a lot of thinking that we've been doing. And I know I could use a little bit of coming off all that thinking to do something a little zen this afternoon. So I hope you get to do so too. All right. Thank you all.